Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
I named the dog Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints.
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
All right. Working.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my man who loves to punch himself in the face. It's Frank. How are you today?
It's over.
Do you like pizza balls, Frank? Is that yeah.
Honestly, I was like way into that idea.
I was way into it until I realized how hot on your fingers that would be, because it would just be really scalding cheese.
Yeah, how
that
about
you're like trying to hold? And I'm
how about
like,
the roof of your mouth?
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, there's no safety there.
No, you can't blow on it or like what? No, that's just
the crust is what saves your like everything.
Yes.
So it's very important, pizza crust. Anyway, on this episode of Beer Geeks, we will be talking about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
But before we do that, Frank, please tell me what you are drinking.
I am drinking a Rising Tide Back Cove Pilsner.
A Pilsner, you say? In
a
this
Pilsner.
warm weather? How very unlike you.
I know, right? Yeah, no, I thought I would. Actually, lately I've really been on a light beer kick, just in general. So my fridge is full of the lighter stuff at the moment. And this Pilsner just spoke to me, and it's from Rising Tide, who I love. Yeah. And it's solid. It's a very, very enjoyable, very crisp sort of Pilsner.
That's great. You know I love a good Pilsner. Like, it's just this. It's so quenching.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. What are you enjoying today?
I am drinking probably what would be the exact opposite of what you're drinking. I am drinking a Great North Aleworks Black Bear Russian Imperial Stout.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, very different. Because when I said this warm weather, I mean it's unseasonably cold right now.
At the moment, yeah,
it's chilly. And so yes, and also this is the last stout in my fridge, and so it is time to say goodbye. And it is delicious. I'm going to change the name ever so slightly to the Ukrainian Imperial Stout.
There you go.
I thought that just to
yeah,
so
solidarity.
I feel better drinking it.
Yeah, sure.
Makes sense. But besides that, it's good. I think we've had it on the show before.
I was going to say the name sounded familiar. Yeah.
Yes, you definitely had it because you brought it to my house.
Okay.
Many moons ago.
Yes. Okay.
So, but it is indeed the very last one.
Yes,
and
nice.
It is delicious, and so I'm enjoying it very much. I was still hungry after dinner, and I think that's what I went with the stout because I was like, well, I won't be hungry after the stout.
Right.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Well, Frank, let's talk non-spoiler Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which we will henceforth refer to as Dr. Mom. Or DS Mom if you'd rather do that.
Okay.
But anyway, let's do the non-spoiler. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And then we can just go into the spoiler version of talking about the movie. So, Frank, non-spoiler. Did you like it or did you not like it?
I liked it.
Excellent.
I liked
did
it
as well.
There was a lot to like here.
Yes, I thought there was a lot to like. I think it shuffled its way into my top 10 Marvel.
Oh, interesting.
I have found over the years that some of what were in the top 10, like some of maybe the Phase 1 or Phase 2 films have kind of, slid their way down the list. Not because they're not still great, but there's more to offer inside of the ongoing saga now. And so, you kind of just get more bang for your buck.
Sure.
With each movie sometimes. So anyway, yeah, I think it has slid into my top 10, and I'll get into the reasons why as we go on. So
sure.
Frank, do you want to just talk spoilers? Because I don't want to dance around anything.
Yeah, we're spoiling we're spoiling DS Mom.
DS Mom. Frank, I went into this movie pretty spoiler free. I didn't really know the story. I knew it was obviously going to take place in the multiverse, and I knew Scarlet Witch was in it, and Doctor Strange, and America Chavez I knew was in it. And some of the trailer stuff, like there's a zombie, and there's one guy up, Doctor Strange with ponytail, and and stuff like that. And one trailer told you that Professor X was in the movie.
I saw that one. one about 2 days before I saw the movie.
Okay, so that was that's all I knew, and so I went in, and Wanda's like, the hex was easy, but the lie was hard, and I'm like, oh my god, she's the antagonist. I'm so happy.
I did not know that. I did not see that coming. That was a very, very cool twist to make Wanda the villain of the movie.
Yeah, it tricked me. It flat out tricked me, and I was really satisfied with the movie. Like I was enjoying it before, but then like that happened, and I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just told me I don't know what to expect, so just go in for the ride.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but I am emotionally attached to Wanda. In some ways more than a lot of other characters that I like very much, but like in terms of the MCU, I care very deeply what happens to Wanda. Maybe because she has gone through so much, and and her story unfolds slowly. We've been watching her since whenever Age of Ultron came out.
2014 or something?
Yeah, let's say 2014, right? Avengers was 2012, so let's say 2014, 2015. Like that's a lot. 8 years of watching Wanda like slowly. Like, don't forget that like Civil War is because of her.
Yeah.
It's like not even counting all the stuff in Sokovia that she goes through with Ultron and the stuff before Ultron even shows up, and so I could really get behind somebody like Wanda who says like, okay, well, I had found something good in my life, in my children that were not real.
Mm-hmm.
And even though she like saves the day and says goodbye and like all that stuff, the end of WandaVision, she's like, okay, like they're out there in the multiverse somewhere.
She's looking at the Darkhold.
Yeah, and I'm going to figure out a way to get them back. And I think the movie did a very solid job at telling me that it's not her fault, that the Darkhold literally holds on to you, right? Twists your emotions, your perceptions, pretty much the dark side, right? Where after a certain point, like it's not, you're not really in control anymore. It's warping you. And so I didn't feel like everything that she did, like it was out of her hands. Like it's not like they say like that's not Wanda, that's the Scarlet Witch, right?
Right.
And there's a big difference between those things, and so I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that parallel quite a bit. And
I liked that. The whole Wanda story was unexpected and really, really interesting. And I feel like this a lot of the things in this movie, as I've been thinking about it over the last few days since I saw it, a lot of the things in this movie are there's so much that reminds me in retrospect that this was supposed to come out 2 years ago. And that this was supposed to come out right after WandaVision.
Yep.
Because think about the way WandaVision ends and the way this movie begins. Like it is like a perfect lead-in.
Absolutely. Yep.
Like I can just see, how on Disney Plus, they're very good about when you finish a series or a movie, they're very good about suggesting the next thing for you to watch. Like I can just see watching the finale of WandaVision, and then it pops up and says, "Do you want to watch Doctor Strange?" and clicking to watch that and just feeling like it's seamless.
Yep.
So that was phenomenal but I had to sort of think back to that time and think back to, where we left her, because so much has happened since then, and so much like multiverse stuff has happened since then, that it was a little bit out of time, because this was supposed to be our introduction to the multiverse. But we saw Loki and we saw 3 Spider-Men. And so like we saw these major sort of multiversal events already, and now we're sort of getting the let's back up and take a look at what the multiverse really is.
That's a good point, because I know, like, obviously every big movie has some reshoots, but like there's that scene where they're eating pizza with America, Wong and Steven are eating pizza, and they're like, oh, do you know about Spider-Man? Do you know about the multiverse? And like,
does the web come out of his butt?
Yeah, like, what? No, yeah.
I hope not.
Maybe. So that's probably a reshoot then, right? Because they have to. It kind of has to fit into where they are.
I thought that had to be a reshoot for that reason. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did not think about that as a reshoot, but in the moment of seeing, because I had forgotten that it was even supposed to come out 2 years ago. So it didn't occur to me that I was kind of watching them slightly out of sequence from the original plan.
It didn't occur to me while I was watching it. No, they did a good job of making it feel like it belonged where it belonged. But the thing that I couldn't, as I thinking about it now, it does feel like I was supposed to have seen this first and then see Loki and Spider-Man, right?
Yep.
And that would sort of.
I don't feel that general audiences lost the thread of what the multiverse is, though. I don't
think so.
I don't think so. In the conversation long enough, I think, and I think each movie, or show, Loki and Spider-Man do a good job at explaining enough of what it is for people to kind of just get on board and roll with it. But I mean, there's also like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and there's the Mirrorverse of Star Trek, and there was Crisis on Infinite Earths, and everything that the Arrowverse has done. There's been lots of parallel universes. So I think if you're kind of in that world already, you obviously already know what's happening, and people can explain it to you if not.
Exactly. It's not a novel concept anymore.
No, it's not.
Yeah. I loved I had also forgotten that it was directed by Sam Raimi. I knew that like 2 years ago or 3 years ago when they were making it. And then I had just sort of forgotten about it. And there was so much like he got to put so many Raimi touches on it. I mean, obviously the Bruce Campbell cameo, but the zombie version of Steven, and so many just great little Sam Raimi.
There was
touches.
A lot of Raiminess going on. Like he moves the camera in a very particular way, right?
Yes.
There's lots of zoom, lots of quick cuts. He loves a good extreme close up, I was taking with it because I really like Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Even moving away from just his Spider-Man movies, right? Or Evil Dead, or Drag Me to Hell. His Wizard of Oz movie wasn't great, but that's okay.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, but Darkman. There's some he has some really fun movies, and I was glad to see that fun come back kind of in stride here. Even a lot of the humor I found in this movie didn't have it wasn't the Marvel humor. It felt more like a classic superhero Raimi type jovial fun. Some moments not so much, like the webs coming out of his butt.
Oh sure.
Or the Illumawati.
I
was like, that wasn't good. But the rest of it, I really felt like it was him. And there are very few directors that kind of stand out like that. They're very competent directors across the board, but you might have a hard time pulling some of their individual personalities out. Apart from Taika Waititi, I would say Joe Johnston. You can tell it's a Joe Johnston film, and I'm going to say Joss Whedon. I think the first one.
True.
I think his dialogue is very.
It's very distinctive.
Yeah, it has a certain rhythm to it. So you can tell. But besides that, I'm you'd be a little hard pressed to find Kenneth Branagh is an excellent director, but I would never be able to pinpoint that Thor is a Kenneth Branagh movie. or that Ant-Man is a Peyton Reed movie.
That's definitely true. Yeah.
You know.
It's true. They definitely have a house style,
which is great. I mean,
right?
that's part of the fun. You know, there's a consistency, but I think that Sam was able to. There's enough of his personality in there that's not like I'm Sam Raimi. It's more like I'm Sam Raimi directing a Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
So it's like the Doctor Strange that I wanted the first one to be, where it's like, here's my magic. I got my shields and my whips, and sometimes my whip shields.
Yes.
And I mean, there's like a lot of like, you know, the Mirrorverse, and there's a lot of trippy prism stuff, but like the actual magic that they perform it's fine. It's okay. It's lots of sparks. But this one, I'm like, there's with the big monsters and the snakes coming out and a third eye. And like, this is what I wanted.
Yeah. This is like, it's like they had to build up to this. Like the first Doctor Strange film couldn't go there because they had to establish so much. But now that he's had his first film and he's appeared and he's made so many appearances throughout the MCU that now we can go like full Doctor Strange and have it like
weird.
You know what you signed up for at this point, so they can go weird. And Sam Raimi's the right person to take it weird.
Absolutely. This movie gave me good payoff, and that's what I think. Like as a narrative, like it told me something at the beginning, and it circled back to it at the end a few times. Like there's really good through lines, but going back to like the opening sequence of that, you know, version of Doctor Strange that, you know, tries to, you know, kill America and, you know, ends up like getting buried and like, oh, that's gonna break an ordinance, you know, like, like, you know, like to circle back to that and go like, who said it'd have to be alive? Like, yes, great, everything worked, everything clicks right in the right place, and like you said, like, oh, the hand pops up, the lightning bolt comes down, and I'm like, this is Sam. This is what I wanted. Yeah. I wanted all of this, but it's just beautiful. And I appreciated prosthetics over CG.
Yes. 100%. That made, it would have been so, you just know it would have been a little off-putting if it was CG. Like you'd be a little like, you'd be able to tell even.
Did you notice that when Strange is talking as Zombie Strange, he's like flapping his mouth like a zombie?
Yeah.
That was like, it was great. It's like those are the things that I just like, I was all in for.
Totally. Yeah. And he had the whole Harvey Dent, you know, missing half his face thing.
Totally.
And,
Yep. Yeah. It was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very cool. Yeah. There was a lot to love here. I did. Okay, tell me this. I saw it by accident. I saw it in 3D. I bought a ticket to a 3D showing, not realizing.
Lame.
So yeah. I don't love 3D. But
I hate it.
So here's the thing. Fight scenes, anything that was very effects heavy, it's hard for me to tell if the effects were good or not, because in 3D, you know, they're doing all this separation to have like, you know, whatever's in the foreground be in the foreground and whatever's in the background be kind of blurred. So there's a starker separation between like what's real and like, you know, an actor among the CG stuff.
Yep.
So were the effects good? Because I don't know. I didn't see it in a way to be able to tell if they were any good.
Some of them were great and some of them were pretty shoddy. Like I found that it went in kind of those two directions. Even some basic green screen just didn't look very good. Like there's a sequence early when Christine and Steven are talking to one another at the wedding, and there are just like people walking up and down stairs like between them, and I'm like, that's so obviously a green screen. It's like this weird haze to it, and it just didn't look right. But there are other sequences that were excellent. Like so, I think maybe it could be what was a reshoot and what wasn't.
Yeah.
But I also did read, I think it was a producer from Doctor Strange, pretty sure, but they were talking about effects houses and how they're swamped with work because nobody was putting out movies because they were all on hold. But now all those movies that were hold, plus the ones that are like new and coming out, they're all going through these effects houses, and they just like can't keep up with the volume trying to make the dates work. So I think we're going to end up seeing some shoddy CG in a lot of movies.
Interesting.
Like unless studios are like paying more into it.
Sure. Yeah, and if these effects houses can staff up or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that Marvel is also using a lot of smaller effects houses. Like they farm out a lot of stuff to different people instead of saying like our effects are done through ILM. Done.
Yeah.
They're probably cheaper, right? Because they're smaller houses, but a good contract for the smaller company.
Sure.
So Marvel's saving a bit of money, but maybe the quality is not as good because the resources aren't there.
That
or maybe
makes
they're
sense.
doing that because of the pandemic and to try to alleviate.
Yeah.
I don't have a reason, but to answer your question, some of it was very good and some of it was okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to tell like, does that not look great or does it does not look great because I'm seeing this in 3D?
I think it doesn't look great because you're seeing it in 3D.
Yeah,
so there's always that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. So that's why it's hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah, but I think it looked better than not.
Okay.
Like I think Black Panther had worse effects. Like Black Panther was like startlingly like some of it was just like
some of it was not great.
That is not good. Like that was not good.
Yeah, there was some. Yeah.
But
I haven't seen Black Panther in a long time. Yeah. Should we talk about the Illuminati?
Yeah, let's talk about the Illuminati.
So Professor X, I did get spoiled on, like you said.
Yep.
I saw the TV spot like 2 days before.
Did you hear the theme as he came out?
No, I actually didn't even notice that. I was so distracted by seeing his
chair
that I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I found that pretty much with the whole thing they were talking about. I was like, I'm barely listening because I'm just kind of staring at them.
Yeah. There was a lot of that. I guess they did all their themes. I mean, like they did the Captain Marvel theme. They did.
Yep. They did the Captain America theme. For Captain Carter.
Yes.
I don't know what they did for Fantastic Four or Inhumans.
Yeah.
But I knew the yellow chair was in the movie because that was it was like a TV spot. You saw like the curvature of it, just like a bit of the yellow, and like anybody who grew up with 90s X-Men was like, my God.
And Patrick Stewart was talking over, like his voice was in it too.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So, like, I was shocked that they gave that away. Like I get wanting to tease it because it's a big get, but I was shocked that they would give that away.
You know what it is? I think it was, to me, it was a red herring. Like, not that he wasn't in the movie, but I was so shocked that Professor X was in the movie. I didn't even think about what the rest of the Illuminati were made up of. And so I was like, Professor X, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, what if it's like and then I was completely flabbergasted by Mr. Fantastic and Black Bolt.
I lost my mind when I saw John Krasinski because, like, how many years now has it been that's been talked about? Did he start that, or did other people start that?
I think other people started that.
Okay,
yeah,
but
many years.
But he responded to it. I think he said like, "Oh, if they ever want me to do it, I would do it."
Yeah, I think so. I mean, heck, they started there. There've been runs of the Fantastic Four that like they drew Reed Richards looking like John Krasinski.
Yeah,
years and years before. Before any of this. So, of course, he's not in it tons, and then he like turns into spaghetti. Has fairly soon in. So I had two thoughts. One, I would love to see him again because I love John Krasinski.
I feel like that was definitely like just a first appearance, and like whatever the 616 Reed Richards is going to be him.
Yeah, I hope. I hope so.
I hope so.
The only thing that I thought that maybe it wouldn't be is that his first appearance in the MCU, he dies. Yeah. So I don't know if that's like, is that the version that like, you introduce people who might not know him as a character, and the first thing he does is die. Like, at least like Captain Marvel, Captain Carter, we're familiar with those characters. Even Professor X, like we've watched Patrick Stewart you can go at least and watch Patrick Stewart in a variety of X-Men films. Even Anson Mount as Black Bolt had a season of a television show. It wasn't very good. He was very good. He's always good. But so I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. Maybe it was like fun for him, but that was it.
I mean, it might have just been just for the cameo. And if so, that's a great cameo.
Oh man, it was a great cameo.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, but like you said, like I'll be happy either way. Like because I'm pro John Krasinski.
Yes.
So give me more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those parts where like you were alone in a room. Nobody was
for
with you.
sure.
Like the way a lot of them like were talking, and like none of you met each other.
No,
there's no way.
Definitely not. It was very much like the villains in Spider-Man: No Way Home, right? Like they were clearly in those prison cells because they weren't in the same room. Like Alfred Molina was not in the same room with those other guys.
Yep. He was not. But
so yeah, same thing here. Yeah, that's interesting. They're like they're able to like write these pandemic-proof scenes where they can shoot it all separately and piece it together.
Or even I think part of it is even like a closed set scene.
Yeah, true.
It's more like minimal cast and crew because you're only shooting one person and
no leaks.
And no leaks, right? Because like it's minimal crew, but there's no actor, there's no Patrick Stewart to be like, yeah, I had a scene with John Krasinski.
Right.
He was insulting Papa. Like, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
But that was great. Yeah, I mean, Scarlet Witch, they had never actually called her Scarlet Witch before now, had they?
They do in WandaVision.
Oh, they do in WandaVision, yes. But in the films, I mean. Right. Nope. And because wasn't that tied in with the Fox stuff? Because
yes,
Quicksilver and because they're mutants.
Yeah, so the way the Fox like rights ended up splitting was that Marvel had access to Wanda and Pietro because that's like how their names appeared in the Avengers comics. Like, that's where their names came from or something like that. But they appeared in X-Men comics originally as Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. And so that's why they got Peter and Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, which they which Fox never even used.
No.
So they just had it and never bothered. So yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot that was a thing.
I clocked it that she was calling herself Scarlet Witch, and then alternate timeline Christine mentioned Baxter.
Yep.
And then we saw Reed Richards, and so it was all these things that like I was
That's
like, wow,
true.
we are breaking the mold like with all these Fox things all of a sudden.
I didn't even think about that. That's true. There was like Fox
built up like, hey, we got Fox now, so we can do whatever we want.
Fantastic Four, X-Men are in the same seed, baby.
They're all here, baby.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did not think about that. That's great. I was shocked to see them. I was flabbergasted how they died.
Yeah.
Like, amazing. I do love that through the whole film, they're like, she's holding back. She didn't do that because she was being nice.
Yeah.
And
she was right. She was being reasonable.
Yeah, and I saw an interview with Elizabeth Olsen, and she was talking about how like her movements in that scene and the way that they said like, well, she's inhabiting another Wanda's body, so she's not as powerful as she would be in her universe. And I was like, she just annihilated some of the most powerful people in that universe.
Yeah.
Like they were nothing, and she's not even at full power.
I was shocked that she was able to do that to Professor X.
That was cool.
That was cool. That was so cool.
She had this Carrie thing going on. That's kind of the vibe I got with all the like the oil and whatever that was running down because of all the. I think it was the Ultrons that she destroyed. That's why she looked like that, right? But like to me, it looked like Carrie, like she like had gone off at prom and like she's just in her mom jeans, not wearing any shoes,
right?
And she's just gonna destroy the most powerful people in the universe. Man, I love Wanda. It was great.
It's great.
It was good. It was really good stuff. And I've seen those characters enough in other venues that I'm like, oh no, what a waste of Captain Carter or
I know.
Yeah, like what a waste of Professor X.
I mean,
watch
it was.
the 10 movies that he's in.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. But
It was
yeah,
just
Captain
cool to see
Carter.
the Chad.
I could do this all day. Come on.
It's great. It's great. I liked her little Rocketeer jetpack.
Yes.
Yeah.
I so want a Captain Carter like movie. You know, like the.
Did you watch What If?
I saw the What If.
Yeah.
I actually didn't finish the series, but I did. I saw about half of it, and I do want to get back and finish it at some point. It fell off my radar.
Comes together like all those
cool
different things end up like basically
Converging?
doing their own Avengers thing.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which does kind of connect to this movie, actually. Because,
Oh,
like,
sure,
Captain
because there
Carter,
was
but, like,
yeah, okay.
yeah, because the old and wizened Strange, the one that looks like Rasputin, he, like, he's the antagonist of a
That's
different
right.
bit of, yeah.
That was the same one. Okay. I didn't even I did see that episode, but I didn't connect that was the same Strange that we saw in that episode. Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I need to finish that. But anyway, I just that Haley Atwell can I just want to see so much more of her.
More Haley Atwell.
I wish Agent Carter hadn't gotten canceled.
Me too.
I know
Me
it wasn't
too.
terribly good, but she was great in it.
Yeah. Sometimes you watch a show because, like, you're like, you are great. I will follow you into whatever you do.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I love her. And then the Night of the Living Dead reference with the way that his hand came out when Zombie Strange came out, and that's where that's one of those moments where it's like, oh yeah, this is a Sam Raimi movie. This is somebody who loves a good horror film. I was like, that is so George Romero.
Absolutely. Actually, there's a moment where I was like, this is a Sam Raimi movie, and it was when Scarlet Witch is attacking Comatage.
Yep.
And she's trapped in the mirror room, and she starts using the puddles. To see. Oh man, this is great stuff. There's like an awesome amount of tension, but then when I can't even remember what the character was, but they like go and look in the puddle, and it's just her eye. Man, that was good. It was so good. And then she comes out of the gong like she's the girl in The Ring.
Yes, it was like The Ring. Yes, absolutely. Climbing out of the TV, right?
Yes.
Same thing. Yes.
It's just so good. And I know you're not a big costume guy. You don't look like Reed Richards on screen. You're like, he's wearing a blue uniform. Like,
it has a 4 on it. Yes.
Fantastic. And then meanwhile, I'm like, oh, so all the black piping looks like it extends like on the suit the way that it is. And the 4 is kind of glittery. The white is glittery. I like that. That's cool. That's what I was doing instead of paying attention to the dialogue. But Wanda, I was not sold on her costume like when I saw it early, like in the trailer or pictures or whatever. And then she's in that mirror room, and you get a look at her fingers, and they're all like black up to a certain point. And I was like, that's what tied that whole thing together. That is so creepy, and I couldn't even distill why exactly. But I loved the swirl design, which it felt evil. Like, yes. And I didn't get that because I didn't know she was going to be the antagonist before. So now, oh man,
now it makes sense. And did you notice that once he started using the Darkhold, his fingers had the black tips too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So there's a reference. I think Wong makes it to now I can't remember the guy's name. The guy who creates the Darkhold. It's like Chom or Chlotum or something like that. I can't remember. This is where they're like D-list character Marvel, so it's like I have to look it up. But so where is this phase going, right? You kind of knew where some of the other phases were headed in some way. Thanos makes his presence known at the end of Avengers, so you know that he keeps cropping up. So you're like, oh, Thanos is coming. So obviously they're doing Infinity War or the Infinity Gauntlet, like at some point, like they're going there.
Sure.
I have no idea where this is going.
Okay.
But this character that creates the Darkhold, Wanda gains control of herself. She destroys the Darkhold in every universe.
Yeah.
Power move.
Yeah.
Good flex. So I feel like we're moving towards Battle with Hell, like something along those lines, because that's between that and the Third Eye and Clea showing up at the end.
Yeah.
Charlize Theron, welcome to the Marvel Universe.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
I love the way she literally tore a hole in the fabric of space and time.
Yeah, she's good like that. That's what Charlize Theron does.
So she does.
And Clea. People who don't know, Clea was in the comics Doctor Strange's apprentice that eventually becomes his wife. And I will leave it there because there's lots of story there. But I've been waiting for Clea to show up since the first Doctor Strange movie, so I'm great casting. I'm very excited.
Great casting.
Yeah, but the third eye is interesting because I think in the first Doctor Strange movie. I think remember the ancient one like touches his head before he gets sent into like all the dimensions. She's like, he's so.
Oh yeah.
I feel like there's like something happening there. There's some kind of connection. The third eye, usually like at the eye of wisdom, right? The eye that the eye that sees more. Like so. Now, what more does he see now that he's had this adventure in the multiverse? And I know comics just introduced the third eye. He's like it's like perpetual on his head for a little while, just a couple of years ago. So I'm very curious where all this is going. I know that Strange is they said Strange is the Iron Man of this next phase. I remember Feige saying that a long time ago. So, like,
I mean, he's been popping up all over the place, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm so curious, like. What's the phase's big bad, or like where are we going with this?
I'm kind of curious about that too, because it seems like all the streaming series all end with some big, reveal of something. Like look at the way Loki ended. Look at the way Falcon and Winter Soldier ended. Like they keep dropping these big bombs at the ends of things. Right. And it's hard to know what's going to cross over from film to TV and vice versa, and what's going to stay in TV and what's going to stay in film.
Because like what they've pretty much established some severely large threats.
Yeah,
right. So
end of Eternals. Look at the end of Eternals too, right? Like all of these big things that are seemingly all unrelated to one another.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Now, part of me really likes that I don't know because like Thanos shows up, you're like they're doing an Infinity Gauntlet. They're gonna like okay, great. I know where that's going. Right. I, as a comic fan, am well informed to an extent. I like being a comic fan, but not knowing what's going to happen next.
Yes.
That's what I think. That's what I loved about this movie, that I didn't know what was going to happen next.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's the fun of it, is that there are so many different threads that you might know what some of them are, but not knowing which one they're going to pick or where it's going to go. Like that's,
right.
Yeah.
Even what's available to them now. Like you said, like it's Fantastic Four and X-Men. So they go to Wundagore in this, which was an X-Men thing. And so like that was not a previously available Marvel Cinematic Universe like location that they could get to, because that had strong ties to Scarlet Witch and Magneto, and like so. What's gonna happen next? It's exciting.
World's their oyster now.
Yeah, we have not talked about Doctor Strange in the Doctor Strange movie yet. We've talked a lot about Wanda. We've talked about the Illuminati and everything. I think I gasped audibly out loud when Wanda was like, "What mouth?" and Black Bolt blew his own brains out. That was the most shocking. The rest of their deaths were quite shocking. Maybe Professor X was probably the other one that was. It's kind of scary along with it, but that just blew my mind, like it blew his.
Yeah, like it blew his. Yeah,
and it was so cool. Oh, man, that was great stuff.
That was fantastic. Yes.
Anyway, I liked that Strange is on this. He's on this journey of healing, right?
Yes.
Because that's what he's on in the first one. So it's actually a really nice continuing thread from the first movie. And I loved the tie into the watch, right? It's not just any watch. Christine gave him this watch, and he's moving on. Like this idea that like he's stuck in time, in a time that was his past, and so now he has to move on from that. But to do that, he has to go outside of time into the multiverse to get there. And I just liked the heavy-handed symbolism of him taking the cracked watch face off and replacing it with the new glass. And I was just so glad that they gave him and Christine a resolve instead of Rachel McAdams was the love interest. She no longer exists in our purview anymore.
I didn't even know she was going to be in this movie. Like that's how little I knew. But I was thrilled that she was in it. And then when I saw that it was like her wedding, I was like, oh, maybe this is like her farewell. Like this scene is.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, oh, isn't that nice that she came back for this one scene?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I thought. And I was thrilled that she had such a big part in it. And it was essential for her to be there, for him to be able to heal and move on. Yep. And it was, you're right in saying that it was heavy-handed, because it wasn't subtle, but I don't care, because it was well done. They said there was a very clear theme to this movie. Like they said it at the beginning of the film and it carried through, that like instead of and I'm sort of paraphrasing what Strange says at the end of the film, but like instead of wishing for another life, be grateful for what you have in this one with all of its troubles.
Yep.
You know, like be grateful for what you have. And like he does spend so much time wishing for Christine, wishing for this other life, and you know, going through the multiverse with America gives him that appreciation for what his life is. And
go ahead, finish your.
I also thought that there was going to be more of an element of sacrifice, because he, in the very first scene to America, when in what he thinks is a dream, he's saying to her, like, you know, you're going to have to sacrifice yourself to be able to I'm going to take your powers, and your sacrifice will save the lives of millions, or whatever he says. Mm-hmm. And I thought that kept popping up is about making a sacrifice, and I was like, okay, so who's going to die to sacrifice themselves? Is Wanda going to end up sacrificing herself? Is Strange? I can't imagine it's going to be him. Like, who's it going to be? And that didn't end up being a thing. But
no, that's not true at all. It ended up being Wanda.
Well, yes, but she, well, yes, in a sense. I guess not in the sense that I thought it would be. I mean, she did.
She had the potential of not dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I don't think she's dead anyway. One,
well, that's it, is that I don't think she's dead.
No body. So. Two, right when all that stuff was coming down, there was like this flash of her scarlet light. So
sure. I don't think she's dead. And that's what I mean by, like, I don't think she really sacrificed in that sense of, like, sacrificing her life to save another or whatever. But
I think she sacrifices her life, maybe even indirectly, to save America's after everything that she's done. So I understand what you mean, though. It's maybe not overt, but I thought it was there. Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that. Like, don't you know, wish for another life. Be grateful for what you have in this one. That was an important thing for him to learn.
This phase of Marvel has been pretty strong on the themes. You know, like they're crafting their movies, particularly like, this is how I want this story to be told. You know, I want you to tackle, abuse, or I want you to with Black Widow, or I want you to tackle, living your life, every day to the fullest or whatever through Strange, or, don't work in the past, or, becoming who you were meant to be, owning yourself, like with Homecoming, or No Way Home.
No Way Home.
So there's like a lot of, and it goes in, or like, what does it mean to be a hero when you're destined to be one already, or something with the Eternals. Like, there's like, not all of Marvel's films ask questions like that in previous phases. Sometimes they're just like, it's a movie. There are robots in it. They will fight them. Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Enjoy
the explosions.
Yeah, right. And that's fine. But I'm glad that Marvel knows that these movies are for children, just like George Lucas kind of knew that his movies were for children that can be enjoyed by adults. But they don't have to be subtle. Right. That's okay. That's okay. That's not the kind of movie that they are. And so, although I do know that a lot of people are like, this movie is not for children.
I was going to say, we're past the point of where I would take kids to see these movies. Like, these are not for kids anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
they're for adolescents, but like, they're not for children.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you would consider children. Like, I at 9 and 10 I would have had any problem with this movie. Like, this would have been my jam. Like 100%, still is my jam.
Oh yeah,
right. Like, I kind of even as a kid, I kind of liked the weird thing. like the slightly scary, weird bits. Would I take a 4-year-old to this? Absolutely not.
No. Of course,
but I don't think a 4-year-old should be watching any of them. Like, they're PG-13 for a reason. Right.
Right.
So there's a limit to like what is appropriate and not appropriate for kids. So, but I didn't find anything in this movie to be like extraordinary. Like, oh my God, that's the scariest thing on the entire planet. I would never, watch Psycho when I was 9. I'm still alive. It's fine.
Sure.
Like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, Doctor Strange, did you have a spell or something that you were like, that's the good stuff? That's like sawing the bus in half, or the snakes, or
oh gosh, I don't know. I don't remember. Sawing the Bus in Half was a cool one since you mentioned that one. But I didn't clock one in particular. Did you have one?
I just really loved the music battle.
Sure.
Between the two strangers. I just thought that was...
yes.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Beethoven's Fifth and the Toccata Fugue going back and forth.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool. That was like that's a Sam Raimi thing where I'm like, why? They're like two strangers are like, we're going with the theme in the middle of our battle. Let's do it. Like that's just fun. That was so fun.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that very much. Did you like America?
I did. I was not familiar with the character. So this is
not
my
very
introduction
familiar with her either. And so, I mean, I know like who she is, and I know that they changed a bit for the movie, but I found the actress incredibly likable.
She was so. I feel like they should give her a Disney Plus series if that's not already in the works.
Probably is.
I would absolutely watch a show like following her story.
If you give me that and like her and Wong like just
totally
having fun together, I would totally watch that.
Totally. Yes.
I love Wong.
Yes, I do.
You want to talk about Benedict Wong taking a like not what could be a nothing part, but like you took what was just kind of like Wong, his manservant in the comics, and turning that into the Sorcerer Supreme.
Incredible.
It's just real fun. I actually loved Strange's, again, the circling back to, it's proper to bow to the, to the Sorcerer Supreme.
And then he bows at the end.
Yeah, there's some like good work, like humility work in there because he sees all these strangers that have no humility and realizing that's very needed. What I really did like, we'll kind of wrap with this. I really liked that there's history with Mordo that we don't see because like when they're in that universe and there's like this really brief like thing, it was like, oh, that's Mordo and we were friends and then he decided to destroy all the wizards and or whatever the sorcerers and he hates me and tried to kill me a few times and we've not seen any of that. The last thing we've ever seen him in where he goes no more sorcerers and that's it. And so the fact that I like that there's just like, we're having adventures with him that you are not privy to.
Yes.
I enjoy that. I like that there's a continuing story back there in the world.
Yeah.
In the
it makes the world feel more bigger and like more lived in.
Yes, absolutely. And I just, I was a big fan. Big fan of Chiwetel Ejiofor. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
He's great. I liked when he was like, I'm beginning to see why your Universe is Strange doesn't like you either.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, good stuff. I didn't have high expectations. Like I just kind of went in expecting to watch a movie with a director that I like, but I was tickled pink. I loved it.
I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I wouldn't put it in my top 10, I don't think. I enjoyed it a lot, but I
probably wouldn't if it wasn't Sam Raimi. I think it's the Raimi-isms that pushed it there.
Cool.
Like there was just some really fun. I just love a good zany horror film.
Yeah.
So and he just gave me enough of the creeps for me to enjoy it. And a good shock value, good wraparound story.
He's good at that.
I can't ask for much more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
no, he is very, very good at those things for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed it a lot. And if you enjoy this podcast a lot, you could support us at patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio and help us continue to make these shows. I mean, you can pledge $1 a month, and that goes a long way. You can find other shows at thoughtbubbleaudio.com. You can find all the show notes and everything for this one at beerwithgeeks.com. You can email us at beerwithgeeks@gmail.com. Find us anywhere podcasts are found, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. Rate and review us in all those places. Subscribe to us in all those places. And tell a friend about it and help spread the word about Beer with Geeks. 400 episodes plus, and we're not looking back.
That's wild.
Wild,
Frank. in a different universe, we never did a podcast.
Oh, that's a sadder universe.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that's it for us. So great, Frank. Great. Thanks to talk to. Great to talk to you. So until next time.
Cheers.
We never talked about why Vision wasn't in the movie. I knew I wanted to talk about something and I forgot. Oh well. Oh, that's okay.
Wait, why wasn't Vision in the movie? Like, other than him being dead?
I can quote you actually. She says, "There's a whole lot of list of things like my brother, my parents, referring to Pedro Maximoff and the duo's parents were killed in an explosion. I think the main reason when we talk about if there's a multiverse in the version of the universe this woman wasn't with Vision, we liked having that be a mystery. For some reason, he's not in her world. I always thought of her as more of a domestic Wanda. They got divorced, they're separated. She's not wearing a wedding band for a reason. Like those kinds of things. We like the idea of her being on her own. It's really most important thing when you become a mother of the world, your children, and that's why." Said the kids are part of the myth as well. I think that it's also part of it. I don't think that once you're a mother, you lose your child. It's more painful than anything else you could experience. That's really why. So whereas she's lost Vision, but that's not what is causing her the most amount of pain.
Huh.
And so that's interesting. And so I felt like it was kind of like the Darkhold, like kind of like it took like her greatest desire and warped it. And so like she had time with Vision in a way that she did not have time with anything else. She's already like learned her lesson with Vision in some way, like bringing him back, recreating him, living that life. And that she, doesn't have that with,
she didn't get that closure with the kids.
No, she didn't.
Right.
No.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Can you do me a favor? Can you stick this right on the end of our
Stopped oh no
no yes, the Zoom is recording. You should just stick this right on the end because it's weird that we didn't talk about it.
It's true. Yeah. I'll add this at the end. Cool.
Yeah. But anyway, Mark, thanks for sending that. Mark, thanks for sending me that article. That was really helpful. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
I'm out of here. I got to do work. Cheers.
Cheers again.